anyway, this is episode 5 of Ramblings About Something Close to Nothing, where we talk about absolutely nothing at all. And I know you have a lot to talk. Actually, there's a lot of history.
Really?
Yeah.
History?
I mean, well, I met you at Anime Expo, I don't know how many years ago.
Probably 3-4 years.
At least.
Yeah.
I know it was before that, I knew who you were because I'm over there and like, hey, this is getting kind of interesting. Oh, that's the guy, the Dragon Ball Z guy. He's doing Masquerade. Oh, but he didn't announce us. Oh, shucks. But you closed it for us, I think.
Oh, yeah. See, the Masquerade would have multiple hosts. So we just went back and forth introducing the entries. And as we traded off, I guess I didn't get to introduce you guys, but I did
Closed
the outro.
Right. And the last one got interesting, the time we did the Macross skit, because we had so many people.
Mm-hmm.
And you had to need water, I guess.
Something like that?
Here's the clip. I'll let you guys look at it. I'll just show you the ending.
They're so cute! Oh, good grief.
I love face huggers, they're so cute. Just won't pinch your little cheeks. That was Wendy as Shani from Macross. Do you remember Love? It's all from Macross, actually. Let's go down the list, shall we? Cindy as Amelia. Key as Lin Mei. Linwood as Centrodine number 2. Yoshiki as Captain Bruno J. Global. Flo as Centrodine number 1. Mike as Roy Foker. I'm watching you. Yeah, anyway. Lin-Mei as Misa, and Tamago as Hikaru Ichi. Oh my god, thank you.
Whoa. So that just happened.
Yeah. Anyway, how do you like your trip to Hawaii so far?
Oh, it's awesome. It's awesome, you know. A little bit scary the day or two before because you hear, oh, a hurricane's coming. I'm like, is this going to be safe to fly? And you say, well, you know, just check with the airlines. You know, they'll let you know if it's going to be canceled and we have to reschedule it or whatnot. I go, okay. And sure enough, I checked online the morning of the flight, and before I went out the door to go to the airport, everything's on schedule, on time. I'm like, all right. And you're like, it's going to be nothing. It'll be like rain when you get here. And sure enough, we land. It's raining. It's not like fire and hellfire and fury or anything like that. It's actually pretty chill.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen worse rainstorms. I've flown into worse rainstorms. There was some turbulence on the way in,
Right.
but we were warned about it ahead of time
Right.
because veteran pilots, obviously, they know what they're up against. It's like,
Right.
all right, it's a little choppy. Put on your seatbelts. We'll be landing in half an hour.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, yeah, definitely was a little bit choppy. Not the worst though. I've been in choppier flights. Landing, it's like, all right, so there's some cloud cover, some rain, windy for sure,
Mm-hmm.
but nothing crazy
Right.
out of the ordinary. So, and then here we are on the day of this recording, and it's been the most beautiful day yet.
It's
You would not
bright,
know.
sunny,
You wouldn't
hot.
know that a hurricane blew through here, or more accurately, smack dab into the wall of the island and just dissipated, just like you predicted.
I'm good, ain't I?
I think your study of oceanography, which requires a little meteorology, gave you an advantage.
Yep, definitely. You guys didn't know I did that, did you? Now you know. A
Right?
lot of
Yeah.
things you guys don't know about me yet. I'm very secretive, sometimes.
So I just outed him. No, not really.
Oh well, that's okay.
He can edit that out if he really wanted to.
Nah, people need to know that anyway.
This is important. People need to know, man.
People need to know.
Right. They need to know that a hurricane that comes into the Hawaiian Islands will just
But you know
peter
what?
out.
I think all the meteorologists knew that, But they can't say that because what if it did get passed?
That's true. If it did actually last, what would happen then?
Right. So if they just have to predict the worst case scenario.
Okay.
And it's just, that's what they do.
So now conspiracy theory. Is this why the weathermen are always wrong? You think they actually know what the forecast will be, but they don't want the people to think that they're right.
It's like that one guy saying, "I'm not lying." It's a long story.
You should tell it because the viewers don't know who you're talking about. So there's a meteorologist
Yeah,
who
there's
was
all these
always
memes,
wrong.
and yeah, well, here's all the memes here, and you can just look at all these memes going by, and it's quite hilarious when you look at all these. It's just insane. I'm going to leave out the name. His picture will say everything.
Okay, and he's a Hawaiian
He's a local
meteorologist?
meteorologist.
Local? Okay, all right.
But anyway, how did you get into the whole voice acting?
A lifelong desire from being like 8 or 9 years old, watching Looney Tunes, hearing about my dad telling me that, Mel Blanc voiced all these characters. Like one guy did all these characters. And I said, wow, that's really cool. I want to do that. But here's the problem. I was super shy. Too shy to get involved in school plays. Couldn't memorize dialogue to save my life. Didn't want to be looked at or stared at or made fun of. Typical shy, introverted kid stuff. But I also wanted to be in radio. So while I kept to myself, I'd just go to my room, shut the door, play with my turntable and my cassette recorder and play radio station, my own radio station. I would record fake commercials and do character voices and be zany and all that stuff. But as far as the public knew, I'd go to school, I'd just be that quiet guy. Nice guy, but really quiet, keeps to himself. Handful of friends, not popular by any means, never got involved in anything beyond, marching band.
Mm-hmm.
Was on the drum line, which I also loved, playing the drums and everything. Loved being a nerd, loved sci-fi, horror, fantasy, animation of all kinds. And the anime I used to watch in the 70s, because I'm 45 as of this recording, the word anime didn't exist. We watched Speed Racer, Battle of the Planets, Star Blazers.
Mm-hmm.
When high school came along, Robotech, Voltron.
Mm-hmm.
But I definitely knew from an early point in my life that that's what I wanted to do, because it didn't matter what I looked like.
Mm-hmm.
People wouldn't be staring at me, and I didn't have to memorize dialogue.
Right.
The script's always in front of you. It's very freeing, and any actor who does on camera on stage will tell you that, because it's like, it's a bit of a learning curve for them. They're so used to hitting their marks and like having eye lines and being so expressive and physical. And you have to channel all of that into just your voice when you're performing. And that's something I'm comfortable doing. And I have the reverse problem when I help friends out with webisode stuff or on camera stuff.
Like this.
Well, yeah, it's just a bit of a different experience. I mean, I've done some professional stuff as an extra, but the point is to blend in. And when you look like this, it's hard to blend in. But I have a face for radio, which I did enjoy. I got into radio, broadcasting. I went to the University of North Texas, which is Denton, right outside of Dallas, about an hour north of it. Cut my teeth there on a student radio station. And
those student radio stations, they're so fun.
That's right.
Is it true that you could play pretty much anything you wanted?
Not at that one, because University of North Texas is known for their jazz school, so the format was jazz. So they had thousands and thousands of records and then hundreds of CDs as they were starting to transition into CD then. This was 89, 90.
Long, long time ago.
Yeah. In the galaxy far away. Yeah. I had to learn basic audio production. Physically cutting reel-to-reel tape, taking a grease pencil and marking the beginning edit point and the end edit point, and using little editor tape and then splice it together the way you would edit film. I learned how to cue up vinyl. So when you hit start, the song would start and it wouldn't be tied or queued up too tight, so it wouldn't go. It's like, you don't want that to happen.
I never thought about that.
Right. Yeah, there's a method. I think it's called slip cue. It's So anyone who studied audio production, I don't think they'll teach them that now, but it's a good thing to know. Just like people that shoot digital with video and all that stuff. It's like, it's good to just grab an old 8mm, 16mm and shoot on physical film, just to have some knowledge.
I got my audio guy. He's going like, yeah.
Yeah, all you techie crew guys, you know the it's like, I remember back in my day, we shot on film and we loved it. Oh, the shot is overblown, overexposed. And then now you get things like J.J. Abrams putting in intentional lens flare. But yeah, so radio, back to answer your question. Yeah, radio was the other thing that really caught my imagination because I love the theater of the mind. Painting a picture, telling a story, whether it's, you know, introducing a record or talking about something, storytelling of some sort. I was blown away and fascinated by old radio plays like The Shadow or The War of the Worlds, Orson Welles stuff. It's like, man, you had people freaking out over a radio show even though they had a disclaimer that it was fake. People turned in after the disclaimer, most of them. And then people actually thought in 1938 on Halloween that aliens were invading Grover's Mill, New Jersey. And it's like, wow, you listen to it now, it's super cheesy. How could you think it's actually real? But reality was a different thing back then. And now it's a little harder to pull off a prank, I guess, of that magnitude with the internet. But yeah, I was working at ABC Radio Networks in Dallas. I grew up in Dallas. Went to University of North Texas, right outside Dallas, got an internship at ABC Radio Networks. That led to being on the air for multiple formats, top 40, middle of the road or big band, classic rock, classic country, a little bit of modern country, heavy metal, hard rock, and then kids radio. I went from a hard rock heavy metal station to Radio Disney. And I got to keep my air name too, Squeege. Squeege, I just had to have a name that people would remember.
Why Squeege?
Why not Squeege? I don't know. A squeegee is the thing you wipe your windshield with, right? And my friends, we would come up, we would get bored. We didn't go out and party and get high and drunk and do debauchery. We would drive around, watch movies, and then come up with stupid in-jokes. So we started naming each other these stupid names that had no bearing on our lives whatsoever. There's no significance. And I wasn't even Squeegee. My friend David was Squeegee. I think I was Leatherlids. And I don't know what Leatherlids as in my eyelids, and it's like, I don't know, just Leatherlids. Like, oh, okay. So when the program director, the guy who hires the DJ talent, goes, hey, you need to come up with an on-air name, because all these DJs have cool air names. You know, Casey Kasem, that's not his real name. You know, all these DJ names, they're fake, right? They're stage names. And I didn't want to go by Kyle Hebert because Hebert is hard enough to pronounce as it is.
It doesn't even spell right.
It doesn't even spell. Yeah, Hebert. Doesn't look like Hebert, it looks like Hebert. And then some people think, oh, he left an R out, so it must be Herbert. No. I'm from Louisiana. Blame the Cajuns. But, yeah, so working in radio, at this point, Radio Disney, I'm doing the most creative thing. It was like the coolest gig ever because I was getting to be a DJ. I was also getting to voice characters. Now, not the Disney characters because they had the actual character voice talent, voice Mickey and Minnie for station IDs and stuff. But we were doing info edutainment type features. I would write one called Aptitude Dude. He's like a science surfer guy. It's like, why is the sky blue? Timmy from Iowa wants to know like this. And I would Google, the early days of the internet. I would go to Google and search, why is the sky blue? And I'd find a scientific explanation, and then I'd dudify it. I'd just like make it like, okay, so it's totally like this, man. It's like way cool. And that was a lot of fun. And then I'd be on the air, and my DJ persona of Squeege was very Jim Carrey, Robin Williams-esque. It's like, I'll talk over the top voice, and then I'd be very calm. And then I introduce records, and then, yeah. And then we'd pretend to have a spaceship, play sound effects and music beds from Star Wars, Star Trek, anime shows, all this stuff. Sound effects of, and then I'd voice characters, high-pitched aliens and low-pitched aliens, and I'd interact with myself, and then...
Oh, talking to yourself then, basically.
Oh, yeah. absolutely multiple personality. And then we heard about auditions for Dragon Ball Z with Funimation, who also based in Dallas. And this was August of 2000. They knew how badly I wanted to voice cartoons, and that's the only game in town that does that sort of gig. Most animation stuff is in the West Coast. So in Dallas, of course, I'm chomping at the bit. I go in, I try out for, I get the opportunity to try out for Teen Gohan, which hadn't been recorded yet, only the kid version had at that point. So naturally, when I had an opportunity to pick who I wanted to read for, they said, just pick like 5 or 6, whoever you think you want your best for. So I immediately read for Gohan. Picked some other characters I had no idea who they were because I hadn't seen the show up to that point. I've only seen half of what it had aired in the States, which is the Canadian dub at that point, the Ocean Group version. Remember back in those days, kids, when it would air once a week, like at 5 a.m. on Saturday mornings, you have to set your VCR. Remember those VCRs? It would flash 12 because you forget to program it. Dragon Ball Z was the first thing that made me learn how to program my VCR, because I'll be damned if I was going to wake up at 5 a.m. on a Saturday morning to watch anime, or anything for that matter. So I was already a fan of Dragon Ball Z. And then I tried out. I got lucky, got hired to do bit parts. Because when you're matching lip sync, you have to not only act, but you have to say it in the pattern of the lip sync. It has to match exactly, right? And there's no rehearsal. There's like one rehearsal. You get to see the take ahead in Japanese. So you can see how loud or soft to make the dialogue, right? But your starting gun is beep, 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 say the line. So sometimes I would start early, beep, beep, nope, 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 blown take. And back in those days, we'd use broadcast beta, physical tape. You blow the tape would have to rewind. And it would take like 30 seconds, and the editor bay would just go, and snow would appear on the screen. It would just be tedious. We'd be lucky if we could get 20 lines an hour. Lines are called loops. Loops could be a line of dialogue, or a reaction sound, or a scream, for example, or the typical anime, huh? Every anime show has, huh? What? You watch Speed Racer, it's all, huh? It's all that stuff. It's like, like normal conversation, very natural. So yeah, first thing that come out with my voice on it was the Bardock special, Dragon Ball Z. Now, people usually think that, oh, you're Teen Gohan, so you're future Gohan, right? In the Trunks special? I'm like, nope, that was recorded with Damian Clark, who's probably still bitter about losing the part. But it's like, I didn't hire myself. I don't know why they didn't give it to you already, but I was hired, and so yeah, I ended up just voicing the narrator ultimately for all the old movies. I eventually got cast as the narrator. Took over from the previous guy, previously on Dragon Ball Z. Then I kind of made that guy my own. So I was voicing 2 main characters. The narrator I consider a main character because he's pretty iconic. He begins and he bookends every episode. And then Gohan, of course, because he's huge. I mean, he's the son of the main character, Goku. So I'm like, whoa, this is a score. I'm a fan of the show. And it's my first big cartoon gig. I know it rubs people the wrong way, otaku and anime fans, like, it's not cartoons. It's like, what is anime? Japanese animation. What do they call animation? Cartoons. So it's not a bad word. Cartoons, we live, Family Guy is a cartoon. Is that for kids? Pixar, is that for kids? No, it's for everyone. They're cartoons. It's not a bad word.
What was heavy metal?
Heavy metal.
Not for kids.
Heavy metal, yeah.
Not for kids.
But they want to call it the Japanese name. It's like, oh no, Wandering Kid Urotsuki Doji, that's hentai. It's like, no, that's Disney for adults. That was like the first hentai I ever saw, and I thought it had a really cool plot, beautiful animation. It just happened to be porn.
Very much porn.
Very much porn, but a lot of, sci-fi,
Tentacles.
fantasy, horror, and
Tentacles.
yeah, this is when it's like, they actually animate this stuff? What? Crazy. I first read about Urotsuki Doji, the Wandering Kid, as it was called, or Legend of the Overfiend, as the dub was called. I read about that in Cinefantastique magazine. Remember that? I don't know if you remember that magazine. There's Starlog.
I don't remember that one.
There's some genre publications. Cinefantastique was this $10 magazine, glossy pages, and it would have all this great making of articles on sci-fi, genre films. And I remember them talking about, oh, this is like Disney, but for adults. It's like, what? Crazy. So yeah, I got immersed in anime from a young age with Speed Racer, and then I became a fan of it more as I grew more aware. It's like, oh, this is from Japan. You know, when you're 8 years old, you don't know what's from what, but becoming a fan of the genre, and it's like, oh man, this is an interesting show. These characters start off as kids in Dragon Ball, and then they grow older, and then, you know, and so forth. They progress, unlike Peanuts, unlike Charlie Brown, where everyone stays the same age, or Simpsons, they just stay the same age, no matter what. Right. The teacher from Charlie Brown always sounded like when you drive through McDonald's, like, I'd like a Super Saiyan Big Mac, please. Like, what? See, these people have dared me to order as the narrator, and haven't done that yet.
We're going tonight.
Oh, crap.
We're going to go to Waianae, and they're going to go like, huh?
Yeah, they're not going to get it. I'm so worried about them not getting the joke. They just want to go home. They're just like, $5.99 drive-through, please. $5.99, it wouldn't be that cheap. What am I talking about? $12.99 drive-through, please.
This is Hawaii.
It is Hawaii.
Everything you pay in LA is twice the price.
Oh, God, yeah. Just learning about milk. Milk! I thought there were no cows in Hawaii at first. Then I learned it's a monopoly. Conspiracy. You have an island in the Pacific, and then people charge that because they can.
Right, exactly.
Crazy. But it's a Hawaiian, it's an island paradise. Why wouldn't you charge a premium?
Because we're stupid enough to stay here.
Stupid enough to stay here? It's a paradise. Why wouldn't you stay here?
Yeah, but you know, again, for you, but you ended up moving to LA.
I moved to LA because that's where the cartoon work is, and that's my dream, to work in animation voice work. So I knew eventually I'd get tired of radio. I felt I plateaued. with Funimation. I wasn't getting a lot of work. DBZ was over. I never thought I was going to make a living doing anime dubs because it pays very low. That's no industry secret. Anime pay. There's a handful of people that can make a living doing it, and they're doing it because they're writing or directing or they're full-time with a company or whatnot. But as far as the voice acting side of it, it's very limiting. So as an actor, you want to branch out. It's like, all right, I want to anything. Throw it at the wall, see what sticks. Commercials, audiobooks, do a little of it all. Instructional videos. I still do that. I do, how-to e-learning modules for companies abroad. I do that from home.
I want you to do the ebook for Jaws.
Ebook for Jaws. Wow, that'd be fun. Especially all the women voices, because I just feel compelled to make them sound like Minnie Mouse. Oh no, it's a shark. Oh no. Now it sounds like Mr. Bill. Now we're speaking over everyone's heads. Unless you're 40s plus, then you might remember Mr. Bill.
So how would you voice Lorraine Garrett yelling at the kids to get out of the boat now?
Right? And the shark telegram, the land shark, Chevy Chase. Classic thing. And Lorraine Newman, strangely enough, is an LA voice talent. She's done a lot of cartoons. I haven't met her. I've seen her. But I don't want to be that guy that just goes up and is like, I was such a fan of Saturday Night Live. Yeah, I just don't want to do that. I could, but it's like, yeah, you never hear that. You've never heard that before. I'm telling you something you don't know. Just like if I ever got to meet Mark Hamill. I love you with Star Wars. Like, yeah. You'd be like, yeah.
What is the first anime convention you got ever invited to?
Akon in Dallas. It's the first one I went to as a fan in 99 and 2000. By 2001, I started being invited. And years before A-Kon, which is the U.S.'s oldest anime convention, I actually ended up, before that, I was going to what was called the Dallas Fantasy Fair. So we had a comic pop culture type convention, which was cool. And I went and I loved it and everything. It's like, oh, there's specifically, I remember one memory that was anime related. When I went to Dallas Fantasy Fair, they had a copy of Akira, or as we all called it, Akira, and they put it in a screening room with like 20 chairs. It was filled, really uncomfortable chairs, and they had a VHS second or third generation copy in raw Japanese, no subs. And we all watched it, and it's like, wow, that's wild. This is really something. I don't know what they're saying, but it's really something.
I remember the first time I showed my friend that episode, that movie, and we were watching the beginning, and as soon as that beginning, it shows a shot of Tokyo City, all of a sudden, poof. He's like, oh my God, somebody just nuked Tokyo. And he's like, no, just keep watching, just keep watching.
Yeah, exactly. And now in the cinematic world, you've had a version of it that came out as this found footage movie called Chronicle, which I thought was fantastic. It kind of reinvented the found footage genre, and it pretty much retold Akira as an American remake, kind of, just on a budget. And even though Warner Brothers, I think, is still tinkering with the idea of doing it, it keeps stalling, and it's like, please, anime is anime for a reason. Let's not go there again, Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball Evolution, not so much. Speed Racer,
Street Fighter. But I must say though, the Japanese were doing a pretty good job, because have you seen the Rurouni Kenshin movie?
I have not.
Oh, I will show you. I'll give you a copy before you leave Hawaii.
Okay. I haven't seen the anime of Rurouni Kenshin, but I know.
But the live action was done very well. There was a lot of Japanese anime that were changed to movies. Some were really good, some were and some was like, whoa, they just should not have bothered.
What about Death Note?
The live action wasn't bad. I liked it. I know a lot of people of my friends who didn't like it.
Ryuk looked cool.
Oh yeah. Well, in CG they all look cool.
They all look cool. I know.
They look actually cooler than the real characters.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but then you hear rumors like, oh, let's get Zac Efron. Let's do a live action Death Note.
Oh, no.
Like, why? No, just stop. Leonardo DiCaprio attached to Akira. Like, really? Just no. Or Cowboy Bebop, Keanu Reeves. Big Bebop fan. He wants to do it. And it's like, no, just no. It
leave
can't
it alone.
work.
Leave it alone.
Just leave it alone.
I'm
It's
glad
anime for a
Disney
reason.
did not get a hold of Space Battleship Yamato, because I think that would have been a disaster. Because they were trying to make it, from what the rumors we heard was, oh, we don't want to use the Yamato, we want to use the Arizona. Someone
Yeah.
said, oh, but you should be happy because you live in Hawaii, it's like Arizona. Like, no.
Yeah, and then I'm glad that Evangelion kind of fell through the cracks, because they were going to westernize that too.
Right.
And that would have missed the entire point. And it's like, no, we got Pacific Rim. We're good. We're good. Big, giant robot versus kaiju. We're good.
Right. Anyway. Of all the... Okay, I met you at Anime Expo.
Yeah.
And this year was the largest ever.
Yes.
You said 80,000 plus.
Yeah.
And now it's a cap. So if you don't get any time, too bad.
Yeah, their pre-reg, I heard, was over 50,000. Pre-reg. The line I heard was 4 miles long just for badge pickup. So people
Just because
standing in
people
the
wanted
heat.
to see Sailor Moon people.
Maybe. I don't know where the huge,
Spike came from.
Yeah, because cons do grow each year, but it's not by that wide a margin. I mean, I don't think.
I think the biggest thing we're going to find out is come next year, if they still have that same amount of people.
Yeah, it's also interesting because the timing is, you got Anime Expo, and then 1 week later, San Diego Comic-Con.
Mm-hmm. I heard about that, and I don't know why. I'm not sure exactly why. I could see for the vendors why they would want to do that, because the vendors just pack up, go to San Diego, open up their stuff, and do the convention. But
Yeah.
kind of rough on the attendees.
Yeah. Because I need a good day to recover from Expo and then Comic-Con. I need 2. Because there's a lot of walking. You're going to burn a lot of calories if you go to Comic-Con. And I suggest everyone go to Comic-Con at least once in your life. Put it on your bucket list. Because what is it like to be in one confined space with 130,000 plus people, all nerds, all wanting to see the next big thing, whether it's the cool collectibles that are going to be on sale later, or meeting so-and-so celebrity from your favorite genre show or movie, or camping out and making a day or night of it to get into Hall H to see whatever, Doctor Who, or
Sitting in a room with 2.5% of them who haven't taken a bath in 5 days.
That's right. And I hate that people will squat in the chairs all day long. They'll get there at 7 a.m. or file in and watch all the panels they don't care about because they really want to go to the one that's at 5 p.m. But they dare not move because that's their space. They won't get it if they come at 3 in the afternoon. They have to be there beforehand. And the only panel I went to this year was Constantine. I wanted to see the pilot for the new NBC show. And I got in because someone recognized me. Now I get in for free because I have an industry badge, which is awesome. But there are no other perks to that. I have to stand in line just like anyone else. So I saw the line, and then someone recognized me right at the front of the line. He goes, "You want to come and watch the Batman panel?" I go, yeah, sure. So I ended up, bonus, I got to see a Batman panel with Kevin Conroy and Paul Dini, and it was cool. It was like a retrospect, 75th anniversary of Batman, and right after that led into the Constantine pilot screening, and then a little bit Q&A with the cast right after that. So happy to report Constantine's really good. I'm looking forward to that show. But that was the only thing I really wanted to see, and I did it, and I'm happy. The rest of the time, I just make my way around the exhibit hall. And the exhibit hall is like 2 football fields, maybe longer. Everything you want for sale, stuff that you're going to drool over because it's not for sale yet. Your chances of running into someone you know in the pop culture scene, famous or not, or maybe used to be famous, pretty darn high. And that's exciting. And of course, cosplay. If you're interested in cosplay, that's a place to see it all. A lot of anime peeps representing, of course, more superhero stuff and genre stuff. But I think it's great. I think it's even great at anime cons to see pop culture start to mishmash together.
I know we see it a lot at the local cons here. We have a big, strong contingent of Marvel.
Yeah. Deadpools. You're going to see half a dozen Deadpools, all dancing and.
So I know I know that we have a couple of Deadpool cosplayers here.
Yeah.
But I think the biggest thing is it's all part of our entertainment. So it's like it all kind of just mixes in, and we just keep moving forward, and we enjoy everything. I mean, there's no such thing as because you like anime, you don't like Marvel, or you don't like DC or whatever.
I would say that a vast majority of fans, there is crossover. Like most anime people are also gamers, although not all gamers are anime fans.
Right.
But all gamers and all anime fans tend to be genre fans, movies, TV, pop culture stuff. So there is crossover. I don't think it's a bad thing when you see a bunch of Doctor Who people in an anime con or My Little Pony or whatever. Just because I'm not personally into that fandom doesn't mean you don't have a right to celebrate it. I mean, the whole point in the community of fans for being a geek and a nerd is it's like you can come together and not be judged. And that's the freeing part of it. It's like you spend a lot of these people are in school age, right? And they're getting judged, they're getting picked on, they're getting bullied and whatnot. And they can come to a con and they can see other people just dressing up, not for attention, not for the accolades that may be involved. Some people just want to dress up and because they want to and not be judged. They want to go and hang out with their friends. They may not care about the latest anime show. Or they may not even care about sometimes they even cosplay characters they don't know anything about. I had a friend dress up as Zatanna from DC, and I thought she was a big fan of the character. She goes, I don't know anything about it. I think I saw her once on an animated Batman thing, and I just like her costume. It's like, that's all the reason. You don't need to be, I know everything about this character, otherwise you don't have a right to dress up as it. It's like, no, you don't need anyone's permission. I'm a big supporter, even though I don't cosplay myself, I'm a big supporter of the right to dress up. If it's like a piece of tin foil and a toga, and it's like, look, I'm a Lord of the Rings character. It's like, you go.
So I'm gonna go get tree bark, put it all over me, and I am Groot. I am Groot.
Talk about the easiest paycheck ever. He says 3 words, and how many millions of dollars did Vin Diesel get? That's a sweet gig. Bradley Cooper too. You get traditionally this on-screen actor who is adored and lusted after by millions of women, and they give him a voiceover role. Maybe it's ironic.
I don't know.
But Nathan Fillion had a voiceover role too. He's a CG character in there.
Oh yeah?
It's not really spoilers.
Oh, it could be a lot worse.
It could be a lot worse.
They could have picked you, and then it would have been much better. But
well, thank you. I paid him lots to say that. I pay him lots to just say, no, see, the voiceover people deserve to be in Hollywood films because this is what they do for a living. The movie people, sorry, I'm getting on my soapbox. The movie people, just please stay on your side of the playground. You're great at what you do. Movie studios, please understand that people don't go see Shrek because of Mike Myers and Eddie Murphy. They go for the story, the characters. It happened to be those people, but you know, when everyone's trying to save money, why do you pay Cameron Diaz $25 million? First of all, it's a voiceover role. Second of all, why? Do you know that most voice actors who could do that role just as well, if not better, would work for Scale? Scale is nowhere near $25 million. Scale is like $800 a day for like a 4-hour session. Now, granted, all the money you really make on those big movies is from the residuals. And I've made a nice payday, I have to admit, from voicing 2 lines in Wreck-It Ralph. I didn't do it because of that. I was jonesing because I got to be in a Disney movie. Just because Disney did their video game themed movie and they said, let's put some cameos in and let's get the actual voice talent. Thank you, Disney. Thank you, Rich Moore. Thank you.
I saw Wreck-It Ralph 5 times just to see your name at the end of the credits.
Look at this guy.
See?
That's good.
Support our friends.
I wish I
just like watching Ralph, but that's okay.
That's okay. He says it in front of me because, like, I saw it for you. Like, no, you didn't. You could take me out of the movie and it doesn't affect anything. But it was a world-building line, just like Sonic.
Right.
And I thought they were going to cut that scene out because it doesn't have anything to do with the plot.
But it sets the tone.
It does set the tone. And then after I recorded it, like a few weeks later, they put out a press release highlighting the fact that they got the actual video game voices. So I'm go, oh my God, I guess they are going to leave it in. That's awesome.
Perfect for you.
That was
and
amazing.
Everyone in general.
Yeah. I mean, I tweeted that day. It's like, so then this happened. And I linked to the press release from Disney. Mm-hmm. I go, oh my God, this is unreal. And then my friends would go to Wreck-It Ralph on the opening day and they said, we clapped when we heard your name, or we just like went, woohoo! And of course, everyone else is going, what's your problem? What are you cheering about? And then I was at a theater in Omaha, Nebraska on release night. Me and Steve Bloom were guests there. Steve Bloom actually helped get my career launched in LA. Mm-hmm. He's like my hero. So we were done for the day with our panels, like, let's go see Wreck-It Ralph. So staff, Steve Bloom, some more friends of mine, we all watch Wreck-It Ralph, see my line at the beginning of the movie, and like, yay! We're all like, I practically teared up. It was amazing. And people were saying, we cheered for you. It's like, oh my God, that is so cool. This little 10 seconds, it means more to me than most things in my career because it's Disney, you know, and it's a really, really good, awesome movie. that I got to be a part of, and I'm more proud of that than it's like, oh, I do it for the money. You know,
What money?
what money? What money? In the end, what money? But no, it actually did work out. For 2 lines, the amount of money I was paid is actually really good. But, you know, I don't live off of that. You know, the money's been spent. I help pay rent, and then you go on with your life.
Right.
See, in voiceover, it's not like a 9-to-5 job. You don't have insurance. You have to qualify for insurance each year through SAG or AFTRA if you're in the union. And yeah, you only work when you're hired, and you're basically fired after you're not needed anymore. So you spend your days auditioning. That is your job, to audition. If you get hired, that's perk.
Right.
But I tell people this is my mantra. Find something that makes you happy. Don't get into it because it pays a lot of money. Because how many people do you know, or doctors, lawyers, whatnot, who are stressed out? Yeah, they live in mansions and they have their wildest dreams, every materialistic thing they have in the world, but they want to kill themselves because they hate their job. Wouldn't you rather live frugally, if need be, just enough to get by, but you love your job? But you really, really, you get up every day and say, I get to do this. That's worth its weight in gold. That's what I tell people. It's like, don't become a voice actor because you want to go to cons. Don't become a voice actor because you want to have a mansion and be rich and famous. Do it because you love the work. Do it because you're a nerd. I know people in this business that do, sadly, do it for the paycheck and it's like, I don't really care about it. I don't even know who do I voice? It's like, really? You know how many people would kill to be where you are? And I'm like, be thankful, be grateful for the opportunities, because I get to do this, and my perks are I'm doing something I love. Another huge perk is I'm in Hawaii. I get to travel the world. I get to meet people who enjoy what I do, and they can tell that to my face, and I can meet them, and they can tell me that maybe I made a difference in their life. Maybe I helped them get through a hard time in their life, or maybe I just made them laugh, or they played my selectable character in Street Fighter, and they played Ryu as a while, and they kicked butt with it for a long time. Who knows? Whatever the reason. Or hearing from soldiers in Afghanistan or Iraq saying, you helped me get through the nights. Whether it was like, oh my God, you know, people are shooting at us, or there's a whole bunch of waiting. Nerve-wracking and all that stuff. But I'm watching your anime, I'm playing your game, whatnot. It's like, that's cool, that's so cool. It's a feeling that you almost can't really put into words.
You said you went to New Zealand and Australia?
I did, back in 2002. That was my first big international convention. Armageddon Expo, and I think Comic Fest. So they would have one weekend, you'd be on one continent, and then you go to the other country for the other weekend. And then everything in between is downtime. So, woo! So my first chance to go abroad, it's the first time I had to get a passport, because I'd never traveled internationally. It's like, oh my God, this is unreal. Went to Sydney. It's like 2002, this was just a few years after The Matrix. It's like they shot The Matrix here, they're shooting the Star Wars prequels down here. That's just wild. And then New Zealand, in Wellington, is the home of Weta Workshop. You know, they do all Lord of the Rings stuff, all the mocap, all the practical effects too. Got to have a personal tour by Richard Taylor, who is the guy who runs it, and he's the one who won the Best Special Effects Awards for Lord of the Rings. And he was like telling all the guests to the con on the tour, that's like, oh, Peter Jackson wish he could have given you the tour himself, but he's busy editing the Two Towers right now. So I'm like, whoa, whoa. So yeah, we got to see a bunch of stuff. We had to sign a non-disclosure agreement saying we wouldn't tweet about it. Well, there wasn't Twitter back then. We wouldn't talk about it. We wouldn't take pictures or anything. Got to see all that, so unreal. Just cool. And see these rabid anime fans that you walk into the panel or you show up for autographs and people treat you like the Beatles just showed up. They're screaming. They're just so excited. It's like, oh my God.
Treating you like the Beatles? So which one were you?
I don't know, because I've been bald. I'm not any of the Beatles, really. I mean, I could talk like a Beatle. I've got a hole in my pocket. If you want everything to sound like a question, I suppose. But yeah, man, it's so cool to travel internationally, see places I've never get to go on my dime. Hey, voice actors aren't rich. Remember this, kids. The conventions, pay for the flight and the food, and there's no downside. It's just incredible.
Mm-hmm. What would be the number one suggestion to anyone here in Hawaii who wanted to become a voice actor?
Get off the island. Go to the mainland. Get acting training. You have to become an actor first. You have to get experience wherever that is, on camera, behind a mic, on air, online, whatever it is. Take acting classes, train, hone your craft, move where the work is. Depends on what your goals are. Commercials, you can live in any main city and probably have a shot at radio, TV commercials. But if you want to do character stuff, the really cool stuff, in my opinion, the really fun stuff, games, cartoons. If you're American, go to LA. If you're Canadian, go to Vancouver. There's work in Toronto. There's work in Texas. There's work in New York. But there's way more work in Los Angeles. Now, the cost of living is what bites you in the ass because it's pretty expensive. Not as expensive as Hawaii. So maybe
So people in Hawaii should move to LA if you want to do this.
it's cheaper. It's cheaper to live in LA. Actually, Vancouver is more expensive than LA. So, but you don't want to go to Vancouver because if you're not Canadian, you got to become a citizen. It's all, all that uphill battle. But you're already American here in Hawaii. So, hey, you can work in the States. So, because you are a state. You just get to the mainland and you got to give it time though. This career takes years of patience. It takes thousands of dollars in investing and honing your craft, taking classes, doing demos, bettering yourself, promoting yourself, mailing packages out to casting people, talent agents. You got to network with other people in the business. Remember, your first audition, chances are you're not going to make it because you're the new guy, you're the new girl. You're going to be heard. And that's worth more than booking the part, in my opinion. You want to make a good impression in your audition so that they remember you and they call you in the next time there's an audition. Then suddenly you're on their list. And so you see where this is going, right? A small domino effect. You get to, and it is an opportunity. You get the chance to read for something you would not have the opportunity to read if you stayed here in Hawaii, for example, or if you're in the middle of Minnesota, or if you're in Kentucky, or a lot of people in England want to become voice actors, and it's like, well, your only chance is to maybe do some radio drama for the BBC. I say hone your teeth, cut your teeth, hone your craft with podcasting, get involved in online audio dramas. Fandom's not something, this stuff doesn't count as professional work experience, but practice is practice. I say read aloud 10 minutes a day. Start to become confident in your abilities. Don't get used to your voice, because a lot of people just like, oh, I hate my voice. You hear it recorded like, oh, I hate it, it sounds terrible. If you have no confidence, it shows in an audition. Your audition is your chance to shine. It's like, this is what it's like to work with Kyle Hebert. You give them your A game, they may still not hire you because they thought you're not right for the part. Doesn't mean that you suck, doesn't mean your audition was bad. They could love your audition, they could love your commitment, they could love the fact that you took direction well, and they still file your name away, put an asterisk, and they say, well, we'll call him in on the next project, but he's not right for this. You gotta learn to not take that personally, because you gotta have a thick skin in this business. We're told no on a daily basis. No being in the form of not hearing back from them. No calls, no replies, emails. Once in a while, I actually get an email going, thank you for submitting, but we went in another direction. That's rare. But that feels great. And it feels great because at least you can put it out of your mind, which you should anyway. When you audition, focus 100% on what you're reading for in that audition, and then go back to your life. Because chances are you're not going to book it, so why are you going to coulda, woulda, shoulda and fret about it and be all depressed? You focus on, all right, well, maybe that didn't go so well. What would I do differently? And then move on. Learn from it. Take your experience and turn it into something positive. It will take a long time. Now, yes, there's always exceptions to the rule. There's always that one guy or gal who comes to town and then they read for one thing once and then suddenly their career blows up. Chances are it's not going to happen to you. You can't put all your eggs in one basket. And don't say to yourself, oh, I only want to dub anime. I only want to voice cartoons. Now, that's what I wanted to do originally. Now, I've managed to make a career out of anime dubbing and video games, and I've done a little cartoon stuff. Definitely want to do more. But I have an open mind now. I've taken acting classes since then. Improv is a huge thing. You think, oh, whose line is it anyway? How's that going to, if I make up a lyric to a song, how's that going to help me in the booth? More than you know. You have to know that you have to think on your feet, even in the audition. Improv, cold reading, you have to be flexible, directable. You have to be nice. No diva crap. Be humble. Because bad reputations spread like wildfire. You pride yourself on being professional, friendly, courteous, efficient, and consistent. Make your acting choices and commit to them. But be moldable. If the director throws you a curveball and said, do it more like this, and you're not able to do that, then you're not going to land the role. Because you've shown them that it's like, oh, this is my little trial by fire that I can't do what you asked me to. Or I'm too nervous, I crack under pressure. Then you're not going to come back. Then you might risk being blacklisted and you won't get to read again. So, and you'll notice if you Google how to be an actor or a voice actor or any sort of creative thing, you're going to find that the advice, there's a pattern. Everything I've told you guys is findable, and you will hear it from watching voice actor panels on YouTube, by going to conventions. You're going to hear the same exact advice. I'm not giving you any gold nuggets that someone else hadn't said. You will see a pattern.
Okay. Anyway, I guess we're going to go on a commercial break.
Ooh, commercials!
And we can go on a bathroom break or more drink break, and we'll be right back.
The trained technicians of Race Factory Hawaii are now offering headlight restoration at a fraction of the cost of replacement lenses. With age, your headlight lenses become cloudy, affecting the clarity of your night driving vision, creating a hazardous condition. We'll remove the cloudy look and apply a factory sealant not found in your do-it-yourself kits found on the internet. Come see us at 609 Keawe Street and let us make your night driving safer.
At Heavy Metal Barbell, we are committed to helping you achieve your fitness goals. From the basic kettlebell, nutritional supplements, and high-end fitness machines, we are ready to supply you with all of your needs. Come in and let our knowledgeable sales staff help guide you to a better life through fitness.
So, whose brain did we put in the body?
Abby someone.
Abby someone. Abby who?
Abby normal.
Abby normal. Are you telling me that we put an abnormal brain in this? I forgot the rest of the quote.
Oh, we're back anyway.
Oh, good.
Okay, good. Okay, we're back anyway. Hope you guys enjoyed the commercial. Yeah, and of course we were still rambling on. We never left here. We just kept going.
Ramblers, let's keep rambling.
Okay. Anyway, what is your most strangest con happening?
Well, I haven't had any.
Stalkers?
No, I have had a stalker. I did have a stalker. The gal got a little too attached. And big fan of Bleach. I voiced Eisen, the main villain in the show. She would come to some conventions that I was a guest at, go to every panel, every signing, and follow me around like a wounded puppy. And it would get so bad that she would almost follow me to my room practically. She would see where I was staying and like, oh God, oh no, no.
Security.
Yeah.
Security.
It got so bad that I did have to have security tell her to stay away or else she'd get banned from the con. Yeah. It was a little bit creepy. But other voice actors have dealt with far worse, I think, because one actor was roofied when they gave him some cookies or some home baked goods, and they ate it and they felt, whoa. Yeah.
We're not going to mention names.
No, we're not mentioning names. But if you've gone to any 18 plus panels, you probably know who I'm talking about. But like Circle of Trust, though. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, this happened. It's happened. I've been left at the airport before when someone was supposed to come get me, and like when I'm 3/4 of the way to the venue taking a cab, then they call back and go, "We're at the airport to pick you up." And like, oh, really? Where were you when I was texting? Oh, half hour ago.
It's happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's never happened to you in Hawaii, right?
No, everything's perfect here.
Yeah.
Everything's
Except for
great.
hurricanes.
Except for hurricanes. Hurricanes that magically dissipate once you land. But
Thank
then
you. It's because of you, the hurricane just.
I brought California with me. That's what's happening. You're getting the sun, the California sun and the heat right now.
Oh, so we're all going to turn to California raisins, and we're going to be singing "Heard It Through the Grapevine," and
You are.
oh no.
We're all going to be stop motion raisins. Just look it up on YouTube, kids, if you don't get the reference. See, we're old. Everyone watching this, probably not old.
You'd be surprised.
Oh yeah?
Yeah,
You have some veterans in your audience?
quite veteran.
Okay.
But
See, we don't say old, we say vintage, right? Vintage. We're classic.
old is when you're like wrinkled and in a wheelchair, and
Get off my lawn!
Clint Eastwood would kick your ass even though he was old and wrinkled.
He would. Don't you think Clint Eastwood, maybe 10 years ago, I think now he really is too old, but he'd make a great old man Logan.
Yeah.
Old Wolverine, for those who don't know.
And now you think about it, like I'm like,
See, the gears are turning.
Hey, anybody want to do a fan film?
Yeah, it can happen. It can happen. That kind of happen. You know, I like this trend where Hollywood celebrities are cosplaying at Comic-Con and people can't recognize them. Last year, Hugh Jackman went as Wolverine, and everyone thought, nice cosplay.
Didn't even know that was him.
Daniel Radcliffe went as Spider-Man
Oh yeah? At Comic-Con.
at Comic-Con.
That might have been something interesting to see.
You had last year Bryan Cranston went as he had a Heisenberg mask from Breaking Bad. It happens.
So I'm gonna dress you up as you from Street Fighter.
You could do that. Except he doesn't really have a mask or anything.
Yeah, well, who cares?
uh-huh.
But Con Wars. You've seen your share.
I am lucky to not be directly involved or in the crossfire. Politics get really ugly because the events, they're put on with the best of intentions usually. But then there's some events that are grudge cons where people will quit one event in a tizzy and think that they know how to run everything better themselves, and they go and then they learn firsthand that doing an event is not easy or cheap. You need a lot of people's help. You need a lot of money. And things don't fall into place in a matter of days or weeks. It takes a year plus to plan it out, to get your venue, to secure things, to get your staff. And you have to be ready because your staff's fluid. Remember, everyone that volunteer staffs, they're volunteers, they're not paid. So they could decide the day of the con that they don't want to work the video room or security. And then suddenly you're one less person. Then what do? It could be pretty maddening. I'm glad that I'm a guest of a con and not running a con. Now, we're not here today, just so you know, to start bad-mouthing cons by name. That's not cool because, you know, reasons. But yeah, I've seen first-year events totally implode. I've seen established events suddenly implode out of nowhere because maybe the staff changed.
And it happens.
And it does. You know, it's done for the love, you know, I guess, and some things turn out to not be done for the love. Some things turn out to be a scam. Like, I'm sure you guys heard about the Tumblr Con, Dash Con, that imploded in Chicago recently. You have some people defending it, but most people are kind of tearing it apart. And I know I said I wasn't going to name names, but I have nothing to do with that con. And everyone bashed it. So, ball pit memes aplenty.
Yeah.
But that stood out on 1,000 reasons how not to run a convention.
Mm-hmm.
And I hear they're coming back next year.
I don't know how that's going to work.
I don't know either. Because when you start begging your attendees for $17,000 and they give it to you via PayPal, most people kind of forget the fact that PayPal can't clear and be spendable the second you send them money. It takes a few days. So when they say, "Oh, we didn't meet our pre-reg, we lost we're going to lose our venue unless we come up with this deposit. We're counting on you fans to come through for us."
Sounds like a scam to me.
Sounds like a little bit of a scam. Just a little bit. Are they here to defend themselves? No. I mean, there's always more than one side to a story.
Well, I guess the bottom line is we'll know next year.
Maybe. Or maybe it'll implode again. Or maybe it'll be the most smoothest thing ever. I don't know. I want events to go off without a hitch, despite all the drama, because it's the fans who benefit. The fans are who are punished when things fall through.
Right.
You want everyone to have a good time. That's your goal. No matter how you feel about your convention staff, your partners, your whatever drama's going on, what matters at the end of the day is that you give the public an event that they have fun at. They're spending their hard-earned money to come to your event. You owe them. You owe them for that. So, you know.
Well, I think you and I were both at grudge cons in LA once. Same day.
Yeah, that's
across
happened.
the street.
That's happened. Yeah. I was already in tight with one con, so I wasn't really going to go to the other one. And then I found out after the fact that it was a good thing that I didn't go.
Yeah. Well, I went to both sides because I was an attendee, and it was interesting, but
Yeah.
just didn't feel right.
Just didn't feel right. It's like, yeah, you think that the fandom community should stand together. They shouldn't be holding events to one up the other one. Oh, this one's run by a jerk, so I'm going to put on a better one. What good does it do to have vendettas and do all that? When you know, especially if there's shady dealings going on, or you're making promises that you can't come through on. I hear about events that will book guests, promise to pay them appearance fees and whatnot, or reimburse them for some travel expenses, and then the end of the weekend comes and the person with the cash box is suddenly nowhere to be found. Or they'll say, oh, we didn't have enough attendees. Excuse me, that's not how you run a business. You can't expect to pay your expenses with the people who show up, because that's just not wise. What if 100 people show up to your event even though you anticipate 1,000, for example? Because that's a very harsh reality. You could have an advertising budget, you could go on radio stations and have these ad banners and still no one show up. That could happen. This is why I don't want to get involved in it. This is why I don't want to staff a con. I have mad props and respect to people who do that, and the drama they have to endure, and the insane amount of stress that for the months leading up to the event, and then the months afterwards when you're dealing with the downfall and the aftermath and the feedback from people about this went wrong, this could have been done better. It's like, that's just crazy to me. You have been there.
That's why I'm glad I'm walking away from it.
Yeah. There comes a point, and this is why usually a con chair isn't always a con chair forever. They're like, I got to pull away from this. It takes a lot of time in the day and your sanity. And most people have day jobs. When you're running a convention, most of them are nonprofit. You're not paying your staff, so you have to hope that you've got the humanity part behind it that are loyal to the cause being the event to give people something to come to and to be proud of, and that'll go off so well that you'll get to do it again, because that's a blessing. Have your event go so well it's like, all right, we're going to expand this 1-day event to a 2-day event next year, and then 5 years from now it's a 3-day event, or it goes so well that you have to get a bigger venue. Those are good first world problems to have, I think.
Can I come in here? I don't know. You have the door closed.
Yes.
I have to cook dinner for myself.
Anyway, we're going to cut that part. No, actually, we're going to leave it and we're just going to continue this interview. What is the best thing you found? What's the best thing you found here in Hawaii so far? Food or sights?
I would say sights for sure, because we've got beaches in LA, and they're nice and they're fun, but the water tends to be murky. Here you've got pretty blue water.
And they're cold.
Yeah. Now here you've got the cool erosion thing going on with the rocks and all this volcanic rock that looks nothing like the beaches in LA, because it's just not the same type of land. Beautiful thing. I mean, me and my daughter who've been here this weekend have taken a lot of shots for Facebook and Instagram, and
Getting people hating you for taking those shots.
they're totally jealous. They hate me because I'm here. And I said, well, I'm here for a con, but the event was canceled, so
Because of a hurricane.
thank you, Mother Nature. But I got a free vacation out of it, so I had one extra day to go around and play. And
We decided to go do this.
yes, but this is good because I've seen things I wouldn't have seen before. I got to see Pearl Harbor. I got to see Blowhole. You guys need to Google this stuff. I've been to.
Actually, we'll just show you the video, but the better video, every time we turned off the camera, then the big
Oh, okay.
came up. But, well, that's
Yeah.
how
So-
it goes sometimes.
So yeah, we'd hit the lookouts, and then tomorrow we're going to North Shore, and then I go back to LA, and then I'll have a nice head full of wonderful, awesome memories about this beautiful place, where the word hurricane isn't a scary thing as it is in like Florida, for example,
Or Louisiana.
or Louisiana, or
Where
North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia.
All those places.
Right, yeah. No, it's beautiful here. The people are so awesome. The food is amazing. You have these combinations for burgers that I can't even comprehend. I Instagrammed a shot of like the Hawaiian Burger Company, Honolulu Burger Company. And they have an Elvis burger that I do want to try before I leave, because it's peanut butter, bacon, and banana, and like a guava jam. I don't know if there's meat in it too. There might be, I guess.
Oh, bacon is meat.
Well, bacon is meat. Bacon is its own food group, in my opinion. But I had the Spam burger, though. I guess, what do they call it? Loco Moco?
Uh-huh.
Is that? Yeah. So you have a slice of Spam on there, a fried egg, brown gravy.
Because Eric took you to Honolulu Burger Company, right?
Yes.
And what you had what did your daughter have?
She had just plain cheeseburger.
What did he have?
I don't remember. I don't know if he got anything. He might have.
I would assume he had to get something to eat.
Maybe.
Yeah, well. But it was pretty interesting. I mean, so far, because I know Odie took you to Nu'uanu Poly. I took you to Blowhole yesterday.
Yeah.
And today you got to go to Pearl Harbor.
Yes.
And you got to see where the maid cafes got started.
Yes.
Went to Anna Miller's for lunch today. It was very interesting.
Yeah.
Hung out with John Murakami and some of our other friends, and
I got a Hawaiian Ryu sketch from John Murakami.
yeah, it's like the picture is like right here.
Right there, kids. Art on demand, even, which I had to Instagram as soon as I got it, because you gotta.
Yeah. And you were wondering what he was doing drawing while we were eating.
I was wondering. It's like, I guess an artist always draws, just like a writer writes.
He always does that, though.
He's always doodling.
Yeah, always. If
Yeah.
you look at his Facebook page, he's always got something.
Sure.
Because
That's what
he
you should
does
do.
comic books, comic strips for the Star Advertiser, our local paper and stuff. So it gets quite interesting with what he does.
I get very envious of artists. I wish I could draw. I think it's so cool to see the tremendous amount of talent. That's another huge thing, that you go to these conventions, you go to Artist Alley, and you see all these different styles and people selling buttons and prints and all this stuff. And it's like, wow, those people need to be drawing for Marvel or DC or Dark Horse or something, or Image or
But they just
whatever.
didn't get the break.
They didn't get the break. But I love the power of the internet, man, because you have a talk show like this that, before the internet, you couldn't really do this because you wouldn't have a worldwide audience clicking to watch on demand, and now you do. Just like podcasting is on-demand radio, talk show. It's like in the old days, back in my day, you had to get an FCC license. You want to do a talk show about nerd stuff, you have to beg us, like a public radio station, some airtime, and may get stuck doing 8 a.m. on Sunday mornings when no one's going to listen. But now people can listen when they want. You could do a talk show about whatever you want, put it on demand, YouTube or whatever, your blog, and then you build your audience, right? And then it's awesome.
So, what would you like to do next? As far as your career-wise?
Oh, career? Man, I've had a taste of working in cartoons, which I wanted to happen since I was a kid, probably 8 or 9. And getting to record with a cast on a cartoon is the most fun because it's you get to play off each other's performance. You get to see how other people work. You get everyone watching, cracking up, making jokes, all the outtakes. Get to be there for that. In anime and video games, you're solo, so you still screw up and you still have fun, obviously. But I'm saying the most fun is definitely when they haven't animated it yet, you're just doing the audio portion of it, where every actor has their own mic stand. Some studios are, let's save the trees, so it's like you're reading off a monitor or an iPad, and you're recording stuff that you have no idea what it's going to look like because it may take 2 or 3 years to come back from Korea, for example, where they tend to farm out the animation. I definitely that's my bucket list stuff. I just want to get on a big cartoon series. I want to work with Andrea Romano. who directed Animaniacs, Tiny Toons, Batman the Animated Series. She's worked on Korra. She's directed, video games like World of Warcraft or StarCraft. She's kind of like my holy grail director to work with. And it's like, if that happens in the next few years, I'll come up with something else, because technically I have achieved my dreams. I wanted to voice in a cartoon. I wanted to voice in an anime. I want to voice in a video game. I want to be in a Disney movie. I've done all those things, but I love it so much. I want to do it again and again and again. Never done a drug in my life, but I liken what I do, or I think what any actor will tell you, or any creative person who puts creative content out there. It's like, that's the best feeling, to get it out there. It's appreciated, and then you don't want that high to end. You feel the withdrawals when you're not working. So I want to keep working. I'm in it for the long haul. I love Dallas. My parents said, do you ever see yourself moving back to Dallas? I said, no, my work is in Los Angeles. My girlfriend's going to come move in with me because she lives in Dallas and wants to be a writer, or is a writer. And she's like, you can write from anywhere. You have a laptop, a desktop, whatever.
But for you, you need to be where the studios are.
I do have to be where the work is. So she agrees with that, and she's going to come out. It's like, we're going to make a life together. It'll be fantastic. And I'll get to travel the world, and hopefully she'll catch on as an author, and she'll get to travel the world. And maybe we'll get to travel and go to cons together. That's the goal.
What kind of genre does she write?
She actually wants to focus on historical fiction, but she wants to tinge some supernatural elements in there as well. She's currently writing a book about the Irish slave trade.
Hawaii, we call it true Hawaiian fiction.
True Hawaiian fiction.
Yeah. I think some of our older crew guys here know of Auntie Genoa song. And he's over there going, yep, he remembers that. And that was the first line, right? Hey, you guys like you on true Hawaiian fiction? It was a quite old song. I don't think you can even find it on YouTube.
Oh, really? Okay.
I don't think so.
Ha!
But I'm pretty sure John over there has the record someplace. Probably. Except we don't have a player for it anymore.
Oh.
But anyway.
I rediscovered vinyl in the past 2 years, became a huge fan of Jack White because I've always loved the White Stripes, and he's a big vinyl proponent. So I subscribed to Third Man Records Vault program, so I get all this exclusive vinyl. I rediscovered, I bought a new turntable. It's got a USB out, so I can dump the audio to my computer if I want. But I'm loving getting to listen to the warmth of vinyl audio again. I'm rebuying things that I used to have as a kid. I'd go to Amoeba Records, is like one of the greatest record stores ever, and it's in Los Angeles and it's in San Francisco too. But I go to my LA branch, and I'll find things from my childhood, like records that I used to have, like storybook records from movies like The Black Hole, or Star Wars, or Spider-Man. All these kids' records. Or I'll buy movie soundtracks, and now they're doing cool things where they have colored vinyl, limited edition things, and it costs more than CDs, and yeah, it's kind of a cash grab for a lot of labels nowadays, but I really do enjoy it. I like the fact that I have to put a little effort in. I have to take it out of the sleeve, put it on the platter, put the needle just right, and just listen, and it's an experience, right? It's not like where people are skipping through on their phones or their iPods or whatever. It's a different experience. And I do hear the warmth that people say vinyl has over a crisp 100% digital signal, but I enjoy both. I love that crackle and that pop. Even though it's a brand spanking new record, you hear that, just a little bit of it. It's cool. And who'd have thunk that, the vinyl records, actually Jack White's album is the best one selling since 1994. Pearl Jam, Vitology, I think was the last big vinyl seller. So that says something. That's cool that, you're going into stores and seeing it. It's like some people say, oh, it's such a hipster thing nowadays. It's like, don't let people dictate what's cool and what's not. If you dig it, embrace it. I had a friend go to Comic-Con before I could get there this year to get a vinyl single of the Batman animated theme song, and put out by Mondo. Mondo puts out these limited edition fan art posters, which I ended up getting a Groot one for Guardians of the Galaxy. But the vinyl sold out before I got there, so I had someone intercept a Clayface one. The Clayface art from the Batman animated series, they made different ones. Joker, Harley Quinn, Clayface, Man-Bat, Mr. Freeze. Actually none with Batman on the cover. But they all were colored vinyl, so Clayface was like kind of a light brown, goldish brown. And I got it for the actual price, like 15 bucks. And yay for cool stuff. I haven't even listened to it yet. I was just thrilled that I was able to get that.
Okay. Your T-shirt.
Yes.
You had some pretty interesting T-shirts. You had Groot Loops. You had a Star Wars one yesterday.
A Tashi station to pick up some power converters. Yeah. I have a whole wardrobe of these sites these shirts that are on sale for 24 hours and they're yanked. And they're probably yanked because they don't want to get sued by the copyright holders. So my favorite one are these cereal themed ones. My favorite one of all time is Loki Charms. I also have Iron Brand, Thorios, but Groot Loops is now my current favorite. And I got this before Guardians came out. I was hoping that Guardians would be as awesome as it actually is. And it is. I've seen it twice, and I wore this shirt to both screenings, and I get a lot of thumbs up. And where'd you get that shirt? It's like, there's these 24-hour sites. Just Google 24-hour T-shirt sites. You can find Groot Loops. Trust me. It's still out there somewhere.
Or at least the guys who bought it and are going to resell them now.
They might resell them, or they'll print their own version. Who knows? I don't know. I guess they're bootleg. They're not. This is not from Marvel. Maybe that's why they're not calling me back. Quit advertising fake materials. Like, but I'm such a fan. I just love all of it.
Anyway, what do you have more fun voicing over, good guys or bad guys?
Ooh. Well, villains are like, well, everyone is polar opposite of who I am. I'm just this quiet, introverted nerd, actually, believe it or not. But I love being bad. Villains are, and that's a cliche answer, any actor will tell you. But I also love being cartoonish, over the top. My favorite Dragon Ball Z character is actually not Gohan or the narrator, it's Ox King. Because it's just like derpy Macho Man Randy Savage. Step into a Slim Jim. I mean, I could talk like that and be happy for days. I feel like talking the rest of this interview as Ox King. But I won't. I'll spare you this time.
You've done everything from, like, Anime Expo. I've heard you've done all of that. I've heard you do Arnold.
I do Arnold Schwarzenegger, yeah. I now do like an 18-plus panel where I find things like 50 Shades of Grey fan fiction or Craigslist ads or just things that are just all wrong, and I'll read them in character voices.
Wrong.
This is not my concept. Other people do this all the time, but I like doing it because I'll have the audience throw out celebrity names, and I'll pick one that I can try to approximate an impression of. It's like, walking, it's crazy, little man. Or I'll go like, Bill Cosby, you see, they're just the Groot Loops and the Guardians of the Galaxy. So, yeah.
And you can even do Don LaFontaine. Does anybody know who the Don LaFontaine is?
He passed away, rest in peace, Don LaFontaine, the movie trailer guy, who actually came up with the phrase, in a world. Him and some ad campaign people out of New York in the 60s. They invented that whole genre of movie trailers. Movie trailers, if you watch most movie trailers, I laughed about this. This was so funny. This past week was the anniversary of the debut at Comic-Con of the trailer, 1979, of Empire Strikes Back. The narration was done by Harrison Ford. And you listen to it, it's the most manic, all over the place. It's like he tries to sound like a serious movie trailer guy for a little bit, and then he becomes sort of hammy 1940s style. And then he's like, just get me out of here. I hate my job. Luke Skywalker, he's a hero to the galaxy. I mean, seriously, look it up. 1979 Comic-Con trailer, Empire Strikes Back. It's hilarious. And you watch the initial teaser trailer to Star Wars before it was called A New Hope. Trailer from like 76, 77. It's like the story of a boy, a girl, and a universe. The trailer's all sloppy. It doesn't look like this groundbreaking movie at all. And now you have this problem where the Hollywood studios will take the best parts in the movie or they'll give away too much. And then the trailer ends up being better than the movie. Or sometimes it's like, that could be good. I'm not sure. And sometimes you see...
Sounds like the movie Soul Plane,
Yeah.
where the trailer was much better than the movie.
Yeah. And don't you
Yeah.
hate that? Don't you feel totally gypped when you see a fantastic trailer and the movie just doesn't even live up to the hype? It's like, wow, the best parts really were in the trailer. And this footage is gathered way before release, obviously, and the ad companies are chopping together these random, unrelated shots, and they have to work with the studios to try and make sense of it all, right? Though once in a while you'll get stuff that doesn't give away too much, but then people complain about that. Like the new Christopher Nolan movie, Interstellar, with Matthew McConaughey. You watch that trailer, it doesn't tell you exactly what's going on. You get an idea. It's like the proper idea of what a teaser trailer should be. And also Fury Road, Mad Max 4, technically. Mad Max Fury Road, directed by George Miller, the guy who actually did all 3 previous Mad Max movies. Even though it's not Mel Gibson, now it's Tom Hardy. But it looks amazing, you know, and it's got real practical car chases in it. It's got some CG in it too, but overall, it's like, it looks amazing. And it doesn't tell you anything. It doesn't tell you who Charlize Theron's character is, you know, how they're rebooting this Tom Hardy version of Max or anything. But you can tell when you watch it, it looks like Road Warrior all over again. It looks so good.
Road Warrior, that was such an old movie.
It still holds up too. I mean, it's a product of its time, but when you see those car chases, that's practical, no CG stuff. I mean, that was really...
Kind of had the nitrous oxide thing wrong. Yeah,
They got that wrong, and it was kind of silly because they sped the film up. But yeah, watching stuff like that and old Hal Needham stuff, Cannonball Run, Smokey and the Bandit, seeing practical car chases. We miss that.
I don't think you're going to see too much of that now.
You saw a little bit of it recently, not fairly recently. Death Proof, Quentin Tarantino. He did a Grindhouse movie. And in that had a practical stuff with a stunt woman. I think her name's Zoe Bell. And she was not even strapped onto the top of the car. She was just riding on top of this car during this chase. Kurt Russell plays this guy who loves killing people in his car. And he's chasing these girls, and the stunt girl, who advertises herself as a stunt person, she's riding on top of the car, holding on to by a seat belt. And she's not buckled in or anything. She's strapped on, she's just hunched on top of the car while Kurt Russell's driving into the car, and she's practically almost falling off, and she's only holding on by a seat belt on the top of the car. And it's like, oh my God, it's just breathtaking because it's all real. And she's like, this is what I do. I'm a stunt person. I got this. And
We're going to go take a break because I think he's just we need to take another break again here real quick. We'll be right back.
The trained technicians of Race Factory Hawaii are now offering headlight restoration at a fraction of the cost of replacement lenses. With age, your headlight lenses become cloudy, affecting the clarity of your night driving vision, creating a hazardous condition. We'll remove the cloudy look and apply a factory sealant not found in your do-it-yourself kits found on the internet. Come see us at 609 Keawe Street and let us make your night driving safer.
Your father wanted you to have this when you were old enough, but your uncle wouldn't allow it. Was afraid you'd follow old Obi-Wan on some damn fool idealistic crusade.
oh, hi.
Good.
Obi-Wan.
It's good that you cut it in because I can't remember the other half lines.
Oh, it's okay. I wanted an excuse to say Obi-Wan. Because that's what, and freaky enough, check this out. Your mind will be blown. Mark Hamill right now is the same age Alec Guinness was when he shot A New Hope. And you'll see, Mark Hamill now has a beard. So he's going to be like
The new Obi-Wan.
the new Obi-Wan. That's the only way it could work.
Can't wait to see this movie.
JJ is going to take good care of Star Wars. I have faith because it's going to have practical sets. Practical set broke Harrison Ford's foot. So, no CG Millennium Falcon there. That's a real thing. I love his reboot of Star Trek. He turned Star Trek into a Star Wars type adventure, and I thought it was brilliantly done. And even though there's tons of plot holes in Into Darkness, I thought it was a very entertaining sequel. Beautiful in 3D, too. So I think Disney is doing right. I think Disney's going to do the same thing to Star Wars as they have with Marvel. They're going to be hands-off. They're going to say, don't mess with it. It works. So Marvel's riding high with Guardians and Captain America Winter Soldier, which is the movie I actually prefer in terms of action, even though Guardians is more fun. It's almost apples and oranges, almost, but it's a good time to be a fan. And it's like you think, oh, Disney's just buying the world. It's like, no, they know what they're doing. They're letting Marvel handle their stuff, and they're going to let JJ handle Star Wars, which it's so funny that they let Lucas. It's like, hey, you just go sit over there. We don't want the creator directly involved. How funny is that?
I don't know if he wants to be involved anymore.
Well, yeah, I think he was a little bit butthurt, understandably so, because he did take a lot of heat for the prequels. Because he's got to face it, he can make something look pretty visually, but that doesn't make you a good storyteller with everything else, because he managed to do something I thought was impossible. Take some really talented actors and make them seem like they're acting bad. Mace Windu, Sam Jackson, that's not a good role. He's a great actor, but he is wooden as a tree. He's more wooden than Groot. I mean, seriously. And, you know, you can give Hayden Christensen all the grief in the world you want, but, I mean, come on. The dialogue, and the dialogue in the old Star Wars trilogy is nothing to write home about either. And I remember reading Alec Guinness said, it's like, this is awful. I have to read this crap. Will you just kill me, please? And they did. I think Harrison Ford wanted to die at the end of Jedi.
Harrison Ford and the AFI Lifetime Achievement Award is like, you know, I told you about this. It's like, you can write this, but you can't say this shit.
Yeah.
But you say, well, what do I know? He wins best screenplay.
Right? Yeah. May the force be with you. When Harrison Ford says that, he fought Lucas tooth and nail about it. It's like, I don't want to say this. Han Solo would never say this. And he says it so begrudgingly. And it's like, oh, it's perfect.
And that's why it worked.
That is why it worked. And the whole, like, I love you, I know, in Empire Strikes Back, that's improv. It's like, I love you too. That's the scripted line. But you got the screenwriter from Empire on episode 7. This is good. You got the director of and the writer creator of Looper, Ryan Johnson, who's going to be doing episode 8, and I think maybe doing the screenplay. I think that bodes well for that as well. If you haven't seen Looper, that's a fantastic little sci-fi movie. It did pretty well about a year ago.
But J.J. Abrams, when he did Star Trek, the first one, there's only one thing I could think about when I was watching it. Carol's going to White Castle on the Enterprise.
That's right. And yeah, Harold and Kumar, 10th anniversary. 10th? What? That movie's 10 years old?
Is White Castle even still around?
They are. The thing is, they're not everywhere. See, in LA, you have In-N-Out. That's what they're known for, right? And then you go to White Castle. In the South, I guess there's Crystals with a K. My personal favorite burger is Culver's. Now, that's all throughout the South as well. I wish they would open one in LA. We also have Five Guys. We also have Fat Burger. We got a bunch of different burger chains. Umami is a really good one. And of course, you have awesome burgers here in Hawaii. I'm going to miss that.
I guess you need to come back.
I guess I'll have to. I guess I just got to come back. Darn it. I'm going to be forced to come back to this island paradise, but I'm going to wait until there's a hurricane. And maybe this time it's not going to like, sure you can, right into the wall, and maybe it'll actually What am I saying? Never mind. I'm nuts.
What are you? Walnuts, peanuts?
I love peanut butter. I love peanut butter more than peanuts. I even like the healthy stuff. My favorite brand of peanut butter is called Better Than Peanut Butter.
Oh yeah.
You have to refrigerate it when it's open, but it's really good. And it's healthy.
And actually, you've done really good for yourself.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't know if you guys know.
Because I remember before, when I first met you, you were like, well, you're already way tall, but you were also yay wide.
Big. Yeah. I was a lot heavier. Last year, I was over 300 pounds. I got diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, and I decided to take that bad news and turn it into good news. So I've fallen off the wagon since then. But at the time, and it did make a difference, I cut out soda, and I dropped 10 pounds in a month.
We already had 2 ICs already.
I've already had 2 ICs. I've had root beer for lunch. I'm so cheating. So cheating. But everything in moderation, damn it. And I've fallen off the wagon. I think I put weight back on, but I'm still smaller than I was. And, you know, I do have to watch my blood sugar and my blood pressure. I have to watch, you know, sodium intake and everything. But I have gone on kind of a crusade through social media, and I tell it to fans because there's a lot of fans that don't eat right. They don't take care of themselves. And just because you're skinny doesn't mean you take care of yourself. You could eat crap and be thin as a rail and still develop heart problems or whatnot. So I'm not just picking on overweight people here. I'm not picking on anyone, as a matter of fact. I'm just trying to say you owe it to yourself to stick around for a long time. You don't want to develop type 2 because then, now I lucked out. I don't have to have an insulin pump or anything. I just take a couple meds each day, one for blood pressure, one for blood sugar. But I was lucky I caught it in time. But I think diet soda gave it to me. I think that aspartame is an evil, evil poison. Now, diet soda doesn't affect everyone the same way, but there are a lot of people that have different side effects. And I personally think ever since I started drinking diet soda, that's what drove my system over to type 2. And there is a lot of research showing that aspartame is tied to type 2, to people developing type 2. And since type 2 diabetes is the preventable kind, hopefully you guys will remember to at least go to the doctor and have your yearly checkup, get your blood checked and all that. And if something is out of whack, maybe it'll be caught in time and you can avoid a bunch of health costs. I didn't have insurance when I got diagnosed, so I owe the doctor about $2,000. That's not good, especially knowing I could have prevented that. So save yourself the problem, and maybe you won't have to do a drastic lifestyle change. I also do Pilates. Now, Pilates doesn't help with losing weight, but strengthening your core. It does help flatten your belly a little bit, but I felt better about myself, had a little more energy. And I also struggle with sleep apnea too. So I have a CPAP, I have to sleep with that. And even when I was 220 pounds in college, I still had sleep apnea. So when I lose weight, it's not gonna go away. I still need that. You know, you get older, you have back pains, things don't work for whatever reason. Sleep apnea can be hereditary. I think I caught it from my dad. He's not diagnosed. He doesn't have a breathing machine like I do. I wish he would. You sure would sleep better if you wouldn't, wake up gasping for air and wake up after 8 hours and feel like you only got 2. I mean, you're not feeling like you're getting good quality sleep. So that's my message, boys and girls. Go to the doctor, get checked, make sure you're okay. We want you to be around so you can enjoy your nerdy stuff.
Anyway, I think we've talked a very, very long time.
We have. There's still people watching this? It's good. Good. Thank you for watching. Thank you. You guys rock.
I guess the next time you come here,
yes,
we will do this again.
Oh, cool. A sequel.
Either we can do a sequel, or if we're ever at an event,
could do it there too.
We've done this at events before, and they get quite hilarious when we did one, and we didn't think anyone was going to show up. And next thing you know, people walked in and they wouldn't leave, and more people would walk in, and then when we were done, they were like, "Is that it? Yeah, we're done. We ran out of time. We got to go because the real people, the real stars are coming in." Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
It's like you guys watching this right now. you're saying to yourself, wow, this is long. I want to go and watch something else. I want to marathon fill in the blank on Netflix. You can do that now, but hopefully you've enjoyed our little soiree.
Anyway, we will catch you guys later until the next time we do this.
Next
Bye.
time on Dragon Ball Z.